Hello, everyone. If you take a step back if I asked you to attempt to drive a golf ball off the pier here into a teacup and gave you a million tries, I suspect that in a million times you would not be able to do it. But if you then took somebody else and they were able to do it 9 times out of 10, you'd say, wow, that person is a great golfer. The analogy that I would make is Elon basically did that equivalent. He was able to send a rocket into space, do all kinds of interesting, enormously productive, useful things for the world while in space, and then come back down and land on a boat in the middle of the ocean. The kind of technical sophistication that he has in his mind that he's been able to apply across his companies is second to none, quite honestly. So when we looked at Tesla, what we thought was a company at an inflection point that was as close to its version of an iPhone moment, and results, in my opinion, is a company that is now maturing under all of that demand. And so again, is it the best suited company? If you want to drive and observe quarter over quarter precision and performance, no. But if you want to take a step back and take a 3-5 year view and say, where can I compound my money? And particularly with the converts, what's so beautiful is it's downside protected because it sits on top of all the equity and the other debt. And so if you have any concern that there's liquidity issues, or if you have any concerns that the company may have to sell, they get paid first. So to me, it was a riskless option on the Edison of our generation. When it comes to Tesla's impressive growth, it's not just about observing from the sidelines for Tesla bulls and those with a keen eye for uncovering the next stock market gem. This page tells you everything you need to know about Tesla. How much should Tesla stock be? If you click on one of the ad links in the description and then buy something, our channel might get a small payment. These things happen because Musk and insiders don't have enough control over the common stock. Instead, it's controlled by a group of vulture-like venture and hedge funds, mostly hedge funds that like to bet on that company. When people talk about Tesla on Twitter or forums, for example, there is a lot of negativity and over or under hype. All of that makes me think that the market is no longer run by the founders and leaders, but by people who know how to manipulate money. You'll be safe if you buy bonds, and Elon should handle the rest. For the most part, looks like he tried his best to do his job. He sets high standards for himself and tries hard to reach them. Sometimes he fails. You can do that. Because at the end of the year or after 5 years, you can ask yourself, what did he promise in 2014? What does he have to do with 2019? Will the Earth, our species, humanity, and the people who buy things be better or worse off? He'll be thrilled. You have to choose whether you want to focus on the main meal or the side dishes when you buy or sell that stock. The fact that tens of thousands of people want that car faster than they can get it doesn't matter if the side foods take your attention away. Once you sit in that car, you'll wonder why every other car you look doesn't have the same features as that one. No matter if you like his way or not, you can't deny what he says. I remember all the Zoom players I bought after the iPod came out. I also remember buying a lot of great smartphones when the iPhone first came out. It's not what most people do, but it's usually the best option when you're setting new standards and have a category leader with a well-known name and mark. Please excuse me while I sound rude. The lazy choice is to pick a winner and go with it. In this case, electrification is the clear winner. The die has been cast. Now the question is whether he can build the infrastructure to meet the demand. If given time and patience, I believe he can. And I'm betting that he can. But what's at stake? Those who bet against him are really short-sighted because there are so many other companies that could come along and buy the company, giving Apple a chance to enter a trillion-dollar market overnight. If it fails in any way, Google would try to buy it again. So what are we betting against? We're betting against the cleaner Earth. We're betting against nice flat screens because we don't like that we have to breathe in all the carbon monoxide and fumes from all these cars. Beautiful ways to handle your time in the car because we don't like it when people bet against his style because they don't like it. All of Jim Chose's money is lost when the market goes down. He only makes money once every 10 years. He's never on CNBC, but he's there for 5 minutes whenever something works. It works well for Jim Chose as a hedge in a portfolio with 1% in a short fund, but it makes more sense to be long stocks and long advances. It has never been profitable to bet against businesses who are making the world a better place. So why start now? I think this is a really important example of a much bigger trend that's happening in the stock market, which is that retail investors now have access to so much information that it's almost on parity with people that work in traditional investment organizations. And what we've seen as that's happened is that the quality of that analysis and the ability to see around the corner is as good and in many cases better than traditional investment firms and the way they view the problem. So from day one, you have had this massive tension between the bulls and the bears on this company, and the bulls basically saw a long-term trend around electrification, and the bears try to play with balance sheet mathematics, of course. If I said you can sell 90,000 cars, but then if you negative sell 100,000, you've not sold 10,000, and you would say, what does any of this mean? You can use any convoluted logic to try to be short this stock. And what you would have done is just lost an enormous amount of money. And so what we're going to see now is that the stock is going to become part of the S&P 500. It is the leading edge when it comes to electrification and decarbonization. And here's the thing, Andrew, what the bulls will get right and what the bears will ignore from here is that this is no longer about cars, that's the first wave of growth. And I think people are pricing in an evisceration of traditional autos and an enormous shift to EVs, of which Tesla will get the disproportionate share. So now, what is the bet? If you ask me as an investor who loves that company, it was in page 4 or 5 of their quarterly earnings release, where they talk about the energy business. And they said a couple of interesting things. The first is that it was profitable. And the second is that they're also producing software now that allows effectively anybody to become a distributed utility. Now think of that for a second. You're talking about one of the most predictable, reasonable businesses that have raised hundreds of billions and trillions of dollars of debt. And what Tesla is going to do with their battery packs and their software is all of a sudden allow each of us to be in the energy business as well. Again, people will get angry. They will not understand. They will try to push back, and they will be wrong. And what's going to happen is that this stock is now going to represent the totality around decarbonization and sustainability. So it was really great to own this thing around cars. For the first 4 years, I made a lot of money, but now I underwrite this company as a bet towards decarbonization, towards deregulated energy, and towards the ability for all of us to become our little micro-utilities. But do you know who else shares in Tesla optimism? That would be today's SP Spore trying to find alpha. If you want to read news that supports Tesla, looking for alpha is the best place for you. Click the ad link in the next sentence to get the most up-to-date price goals for Tesla's offerings. Everything new Elon Musk in the explanation. There is a link to a great deal. It's really incredible, actually. He's somebody I've known for a really long time. I've looked up to him for a long time, and here's what I would say, that he built a great car company, and somewhere along the way, about 5 or 6 years ago, what I thought he was building was an energy company, and that eventually people would realize that climate change actually mattered. And it's taken 5 or 6 years for everybody to realize the same thing. And he's being rewarded. That the world's richest person should be somebody that's fixing and fighting climate change. I think the reality is that Tesla is a distributed energy business, right? They are figuring out how to harness energy, how to store it, and then how to use it in a way to allow humans to be productive. Cars are a manifestation, but solar panels are as well, power walls are as well. And I'm telling you right now, Scott, the big disruption that's coming is to power utilities. There are trillions of dollars of bonds of